always try to live life slightly differently. We always think about, is there one defining moment which has changed the way you look at things? For me, there have been so many of them. One of them I could share right now is I used to hold a position of, like so many people in the corporate world, I'd not like to say which of them, but it was a fairly interesting, exciting, high profile job, which meant I could move several notches higher. And one fine day, I decided to take a call on ethics and step down. It was a bad market. Stepping down would also mean that I may not get a new job elsewhere, but the call was very strong enough for me to say I would not like to continue if certain situations exist. And taking that strong decision, I moved out, and that was one of my biggest steps to say, if I can take such a huge risk in such a down market or a space of negativity, look at things positively, then why can't I inspire other people to do so as well? That was one of the biggest turning points, which led me also to look at what has happened today. Because from then on, I moved into creating opportunities in philanthropy, looking at people who need help in some way or the other, and I realized that there is a good bone in everyone. The challenge that happens is most people do not know whom to reach out to in times of crisis or in peace times, and they always look around for somebody to latch on. For instance, give you a simple example, somebody who's trying out new, I'll give you an analogy for a little child, and there's a little child's fingers, and the moment you put your palm in the child's palm, automatically the child tries to clasp the palm, looking at a sense of security. And that's what I realized, that people want to do something good, they do not know how to go about things, and the moment they see somebody doing good, they gravitate towards that. And that's the role I believed that I have managed to play very well, fitting into what one would define as one of these traits that a resilient person would have, is to look at the glass half full, look at the fact that people need help, so I can be there for others, and can I be a catalyst in the change that takes place? Because people do need catalysts. People increasingly have lost faith in the heroes that they thought were heroes. And now you increasingly see heroes without capes. And those are the people who are game changers. And then if I take it forward by about 8 years, because that was 2009, and now 2018 when Project Mumbai happened. It's a long gap, but there were lots of things that happened in the course of these years, and I did interesting things which exemplified or resonated with the way I was thinking. Project Mumbai was born in almost similar manner. Project Mumbai has been founded by me, and so in a lot of ways, what I believe has gone into Project Mumbai, but it's also about the people in the team which works and is part of Project Mumbai, because those are the people who are now messengers of the same kind of belief that I have, but there are also their own ideas which come in, and there's that freedom to take things forward and multiply. So little things that I would have done is, as I said, people need help, but more people join in, and that's how we've increased our strength by bringing in volunteers. So one of those elements of being resilient in a space like this is to have more resilient people around, and our army of volunteers across every space. Every time I create a call to action, and there are 50 people whose hands go up to say, we are happy to do it. And under adverse situations, a senior citizen needs food, hands have gone up. Senior citizen needs cooked food at home, which is not available, hands go up, people have gone about. People with disabilities need help, hands have gone up. And these are people whom I do not know at all. They've all come forward because they believe in the cause. So what's important is also to look for a cause which resonates with other people. The other part is, if there's a problem, there's always a solution. And you need to be strong enough to say, yes, I would like to be the solution. Because the moment you procrastinate, the person who's reached out to you feels more dejected. I'll give you a simple example again with COVID-19. And we managed to do a lot of things because of this approach that I have and my colleagues in Project Mumbai had. When government of Maharashtra reached out to us in COVID times, their kitchens had shut down. And said, the kitchens have shut down. The migrants who were running these kitchens have left. Doctors need food. I'm not a foodie. Pre-COVID, we were one more organization doing good work, like so many of the others. We were not in the food business. We were not in the restaurant business. But when the government called us to say doctors need food, we said, chalo, let's try that out. Happy to relook at a problem from a different perspective altogether. We spoke to kitchens, we spoke to chefs, we looked at what is required, we spoke to the doctors what they need, and we created a marriage between kitchens and the eaters. And there it was. We started providing food, cooked meals to doctors. Today we've touched close to 130,000 meals to doctors, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at all these major hospitals. These frontline warriors that are taking care of our family members. So there are solutions which happen, but it's also important that when you're looking at all this, you need to create scale. Doing things at a small level is not going to be visible enough, and which also means that it's not going to impact other people in that sense. To say, I did something in Warsaw, for instance, a Bhandup in Mumbai may not even know what's happening. Or I do something in Bandra, then a Bhayandar may not know what's happening. So can I look at, and that's been one more approach that I have taken in most things, that in my giving, can I create an element of scale? So whatever I try to do has to be big so that people should feel that impact and then join in and feel happy and spread that happiness. Given a simple example, we decided to give PPE kits to doctors. And conventionally, we said a few thousand here and there. And we realized that no, the requirement is close to 50,000 PPE kits a week. So we went back to our donors and we created this need of the scale, and we had donors come forward. And fortunate that we were, Project Mumbai has been instrumental in donating 220,000 PPE kits, which is the country's largest donation of PPE kits. So am I responsible? Is the donor is. The doctors needed it. What we did was play the role of a catalyst. And catalysts are really important in today's day and age to bring about that change. And there are enough catalysts around. It's just that they do not know how to go about it. We see problems. We see that there has to be a solution. I look at the glass, whether it's half full or half empty. To give you a simple example, don't find the small battles, especially the battle where you realize you cannot win. Mumbai's hospital scene, most people know that this challenge in getting ICU beds, there's a need for a dashboard on all kinds of COVID hospitals. We tried to reason with the municipal corporation day in and day out for weeks together, can we have a transparent dashboard? The municipal corporation kept us engaged in conversations, but somehow we realized that that was not happening. So one way of it was to say, oh God, not happening, forget it. I'm not going to do anything else. Get frustrated. The other way of doing it is, can we look at an alternate solution? So there are people who need COVID help, but there are other people also who need non-COVID help. So let's create, and there are 95% of these people as well. So can we create a non-COVID need? And our volunteers always ready to help. These are the ones who are really resilient as well. We've created a non-COVID patient dashboard. If you go to the Project Mumbai website, you'll see for fractures, for child help, for other things that you need help, you can go to this, the closest hospital near your home. The last 2 points I'd like to quickly add, because I'd rather keep this open to conversation, is that for impact and to show that you're resilient, you don't need a rocket science idea. Something very simple and elementary can work. Two things one could talk about is Kindness Unlimited is another organization which I've worked with. They came up with the idea called Go Bananas. And this, what do we do with bananas? And we thought about, can we provide these bananas to children with lesser privileges? And before we knew, we started ordering 5,000 bananas every day. And every place that we moved, we saw a child, we gifted him a banana. Parleys gave biscuits, and we created chota packets where we put biscuit packets and bananas, and we provided them, these children, with biscuit packets as gift bags. Imagine a child, people like you and me love gift bags, whatever the age that we may be. Imagine a child on the street, not knowing where his next meal is coming from, gets a lovely bag which has biscuits and bananas, and say that this is for you. There's no ask in return. So something like this can be a game changer. Or talking about Versova, which is home to the film industry, they offered us vanity vans. And some of us got together and said, okay, can we convert these vanity vans for women cops and then make them restrooms? All we need to do is look around. So to be resilient is not doesn't require something very superhuman qualities. You need to be sensitive enough. You need to have your ear to the ground. You need to look around to say, this is a problem I'm facing. So obviously somebody else is facing as well. If I'm out on the road for 2 hours and 3 hours and 4 hours and I need to go to the washroom, where do I go? Men, there's no issue at all. What about women? So for women, cops were out on duty day in and day out, especially in COVID times. They would not be allowed in any building or hotel to use the washroom. The vanity vans, we converted them into washrooms. We spoke to a corporate house. They provided with biscuits and sanitary pads, and we stacked them up with that. And we had fantastic restrooms available for women cops. So did it require something very extraordinary, committee meetings to figure out something like this? No. These are things that you and I would face. Can't we think of the same thing for people around us? And last, a quick one I'll say is that to move on this journey, to claim to be resilient and to show that you're resilient, you don't try to change the world, just be the custodian of the 100 meters where you live. And don't think that walking alone is going to take it. So you need to have people who resonate with the way you think. The example of Khana Chahiye. Like-minded people got together. Project Mumbai gave this a lead and an anchor. Some of us came together and said, people need help. What should we do? We'll help them. And what started off as 1,200 meals on day one on 29th March, as of yesterday, we got the internet. We've now fed 39 lakh people in Mumbai. It's a huge number. That's one large organization. It's almost the role of a government that we've played in a very organized way, but yet in an informal way, funded by, of course, corporates and donors and citizens. But we managed to do that. All this is possible if you start looking at things in a positive way. If you do not believe that setbacks are long term, if there is a problem, there has to be a solution. As I would say in Hindi, आँख बंद करोगे तो अंधेरा ही दिखेगा. You need to open your eyes and you'll see the bright side of things. You'll see people who need help. And the moment you start helping, you'll see that there are other people who are already there to help you out and work with you. So things will move. There are people around. There are heroes everywhere. All you need to do to be resilient enough is to be a catalyst. Change will happen.